I am Bridget Lake, president of the Oviedo Winter Springs Regional Chamber of Commerce, and we are here with David Johnson, running for property appraiser serving Seminole County. Our premier virtual Eastside Regional Hob Nob is presented by Lucas Land Group, an Oviedo-based family-run business with interest throughout Central Florida. Our sponsor, Duke Energy, our radio sponsor, 96.5 WDBO, and our website sponsor, Palm Tree Tech Center. Now, before we begin our conversation, let's watch a quick commercial from our sponsor, Duke Energy.
You deserve a smarter energy future, now. That's why Duke Energy is investing in advanced technology that improves reliability and helps prevent outages, that strengthens the grid against everything from storms to cyber attacks, moves the most vulnerable lines underground, and adds more solar, because you deserve stronger, cleaner, more reliable energy. And we're determined to deliver it. We're Duke Energy, and we're building your smarter energy future today.
And now we are back with David Johnson, running for property appraiser serving Seminole County. He is one of our candidates at the Eastside Regional Hob Nob. How are you doing today, David?
I'm doing fantastic. It was great to be with you, Bridget.
Thank you so much for being with us. Now, why don't you start by just telling us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I'm a lifelong Seminole County resident. I grew up here in Sanford, and I went to school here in Seminole County, and I went to college at Stetson University over in DeLand. So I've stayed pretty close to home. My family, I have 4 sisters and a mother and nieces and nephews, and most of them are still in this area, and we enjoy getting together on occasion and celebrating. Of course, right now that's a little bit difficult to do with all the pandemic stuff. My mother's in an assisted living facility, so we've not seen her for a while, but we FaceTime and we talk to her and all that good stuff. So, but she's doing well. And again, she and my father both had businesses here in Seminole County, and we've had a great life growing up, and I appreciate those roots very much. One of the fun facts that I tell folks is the building that we work in, the County Services Building, is actually the building I was born in, because fun fact, most folks did not realize that this building was the county hospital at one point, and stayed at the county hospital to the mid-'80s, basically. And then when the county came in and took it over for administrative offices. So I've spent a big chunk of my life in the building that we currently work in. So.
Wow, that's interesting. And let me ask, have other of your family, because it sounds like you have a big family, was it just you that was born there, or was quite a bit of your family born there?
Actually, most of my other 2 sisters were born here. Then there was another hospital before that they were born in. So yes, we're all Sanford residents, longtime Sanford residents.
Well, that is great. And so do you have any pets, animals? Are you a dog or a cat person?
I'm a dog person. I have a little Chihuahua Corgi mix. His name is Tyler. He looks like a little German Shepherd, and he acts like a big German Shepherd. He rules the roost, and he's a little rescue that I got from Pets Rescue by Judy, which is a great organization here in Seminole County. I had another pet before who passed away in 2017, and he was also a rescue. But like I said, Pet Rescue by Judy does a fantastic job at serving this community, and I would encourage anybody to check her out. And I know there's a lot of rescue agencies around the county and throughout Orange County, and those folks do a tremendous job, and I would always recommend that. But yes, we're 2 little bachelors, and we just have a great time. He keeps me in check, for sure. So
I love that. And you have actually been with the property appraiser. Tell us the history of you and that office.
Sure. So I graduated from Stetson University, like I said, in 1986. I had plans to go on to law school at that time. My father was sick at the time, and so I was not able to really concentrate on going to law school at that point. But so what I needed to do was find a job that I found an interest in, and this opportunity was there. And so started working here in 1986 and as an appraiser trainee, and worked my way through the organization of the number of years. Once my father did pass away, the decision I had to make was, did I want to go back to law school or not? And I decided what I was doing I loved very much, and I wanted to continue to do that. So I worked my way through the organization, and in 2004, I was elected to county property appraiser for the first time. So after serving as the assistant property appraiser for a number of years.
So you've been in that office for quite a long time.
I have, and we've seen many, many changes, obviously. I tell folks that when I first started working in the office, the tax roll was about a $5.5 billion tax roll. Today, it's almost a $40 billion tax roll. So that tells you some amount of growth that's occurred. And we've done everything. We're obviously in a situation now with the pandemic and trying to monitor how that's going to affect property values going forward. But in my career, I've dealt with several different issues. First one being the savings and loan crisis, which was the late 80s. Then we had the dot-com crisis, we had 9/11, we had the Great Recession, and now we have the pandemic. So all those major issues have affected property values one way or the other throughout my career. And it's been interesting following that and doing those adjustments that we've needed to do to react to those situations.
So with the many years that you have, this might be a difficult question for you, but what is the most significant contribution that you have brought about in your political service to date?
So I think our biggest contribution is based on technology and being able to, we launched a website in the mid-90s for the first time. We had all the property information about Seminole County out there, and we were one of the first websites in the state actually that had the property information out there. What that's done has been transformative, just like the internet's been transformative in many aspects of our life. We have been able to provide a high level service to our customers on a daily basis by them being able to serve themselves. And we're probably in about the 6th or 7th iteration of our website. But that website is used daily by tens of thousands of people. And a lot of people don't realize that many of your businesses that are members of the chamber, roofing folks, title companies, banks, all those things that you would, landscaping companies, people that need information about property are constantly on the website pulling information for permits and other things. So that's probably been our most significant contribution, being able to deliver high quality services in a very efficient way. And I'm very proud of that. And in fact, we have less employees today. We have about 50 employees. We have less employees today than when I started working in the office in 1986. We had about 55 employees at that point. And that's just because of being able to harness technology. Even though the county's grown exponentially in that time frame, we've been able to harness technology and again, provide a high level of service without costing the taxpayers a significant amount of money in a very efficient way.
And you're also a certified Florida appraiser.
Right.
So what does that mean, and how did you get that?
So, a lot of elected officials, you don't need any special skills or technical abilities. As property appraiser, that's the one thing that you do need. You need skills and technical abilities to the job. And I'm the only candidate in the race that has that certification, a certified Florida appraiser. And what that means is you have to go through many hundreds and hundreds of hours of training and continuing education on an annual basis to keep that certification. Again, it's a skill set that you need to do the job. Obviously, the position is an administrative type position, but we also have to follow the principles of appraisal practices, and that's very important to have that designation. And again, I'm the only candidate in the race that's have that certification. And again, it takes a number of years to achieve the designation, it certainly has provided me with the skill set necessary to kind of navigate through some of these trying times that we've gone through, as I just outlined, from savings loan crisis to the current COVID crisis that we're going through, and how does that affect property values long term?
Absolutely. Now, I do have a question about what's the difference between the appraisal a bank gets for a mortgage and the appraisal process for the property appraiser's office?
Sure.
Because there
Good
is
question.
a difference.
It is different. And what we do in this office is called mass appraisal. And that's what, when we are assessing properties, we're doing it for tax purposes, okay? And that's what my 67 other colleagues across the state do and across the United States. So even though we follow basic appraisal principles, we are doing it in mass. In other words, we're valuing tens of thousands of properties at one time to create a tax roll. Whereas when you have a bank appraisal done, we've all bought and sold houses or businesses, the bank will send an appraiser out. He or she will value the real estate and report that to the lending institution so that a loan can be secured by that asset. What we're doing is we're using similar principles. We're looking at sales of comparable properties, and then we're applying those sales prices or rates per square foot across thousands and thousands of properties. And the main thing, Bridget, that we try to do in this office and our hallmark is equity. We want to make sure that we're treating all taxpayers in an equitable manner with like properties. So if you've got a 1,500 square foot house and concrete block in Oviedo in the same neighborhood as another 1,500 square foot house, we should be assessing you with the very tight parameters so that no one is paying more than their fair share or less than their fair share. So equity is a huge part of that. And we do utilize a lot of statistics and modeling when we were trying to come up with these values. As I said, we've got 50 employees. There's about 180,000 pieces of real estate in this county. So we are having to, again, look at those sales, calibrate that, and make some judgments, very skilled judgments, and again, apply those rates across the board so that we are being equitable when we come up with our value. One of the other questions that I'm often asked is, well, my appraisal, the value you've come up with on my property is less than what the bank says it's worth, okay, or what I bought it for. And that's true. And the reason that's true is because one of the statutes that we're required to follow, and again, there's a number of statutes in the state constitution that we have to follow in doing our valuation process. We have to basically account for any costs that are involved in that sale. In other words, when you buy or sell a piece of real estate, let's use a simple example. You bought a house for $100,000, or you sold a house for $100,000. You did not, as a typical seller, did not put $100,000 in your pocket. There was some cost associated with that sale. You probably had to pay a real estate commission, surveying fees, documentary taxes, etc. So you probably walked away with something less than $100,000. And by Florida law, it says that we were supposed to take away 15%, okay, for what's known as the cost of that sale. So that's why there's always going to be a little bit of a difference between my value and the value that you bought a piece of property for. It's going to be about 15 to 20% less. And the other thing to keep in mind is, unlike a bank appraisal, if you want to buy something today and the bank orders up an appraisal, they're going to send an appraiser out there in the next week or so, and they're going to value the property as of that day. By Florida law and Florida Constitution, we value the property as of January 1st of each year. So, and that's consistent across the country, across the state, so that, again, we've got equity and we're treating everybody fairly, and we find one place in time to come with that value, and it happens to be January the 1st. So there's always a lag time between my assessment and what your tax bill is going to look like, just because we're always a year behind when we do our assessments.
I did find that pretty interesting when I learned that fact. So before we wrap this up, is there anything else that you want to add?
Well, I think the main thing I would ask is, I have a proven track record as the county property appraiser. I think that, in my involvement with the community, I feel very proud of my folks that I've worked with for a number of years. And I just ask for their support, and I look forward to moving into the November election cycle, and looking forward to talking folks. You know, one of the things about this process, this being an elected office, I'm fairly involved in the community anyway. I'm a member of your chamber and Habitat for Humanity and a number of other charities. But the one thing that this election process does every 4 years is it allows us to get back out there in the community and interact with folks at a different level. I enjoy that very much, and because it's always good to keep your ear to the ground and hear what folks are saying and thinking. And some of our best ideas have come from my constituents and taxpayers, and I just relish that opportunity. So I look forward to seeing everybody. I know with where we are today, we're doing a lot more virtual stuff, and it's not quite the same, but I appreciate the chamber doing this, and I think it's wonderful that being able to do this through this vehicle, because again, we still get to stay in touch, and I appreciate that very much.
Well, thank you so much. That is David Johnson, running for the property appraiser, serving Seminole County. He is one of our candidates at the Eastside Regional Hob Nob. Check him and other candidates out this June 30th at 5:30 at the virtual Eastside Regional Hob Nob. And pretty soon their videos will be up on esrhobnob.com. So we will see you then. Have a great day. Thank you so much, David.
Thank you, Bridget, for the opportunity.
Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you.